Okay, we are back. So today's topic is going to be centered around the idea or the fear that a lot of people have about fasting every day. So, should you fast every day? And I want to ask you guys that question. Are you currently fasting every day? And if you are currently fasting every day, let me know in the comment section. And if for some reason you are not fasting on a daily basis, is that because you are afraid of what that might do for you? Are you afraid to put yourself in a fasted state every day? And the question that I really like to throw back at women who are really feeling nervous or afraid about fasting every day is the question we ask here all the time when we find ourselves in a situation where we're questioning something like intermittent fasting. And that is, how has everything that you've been doing up to this point been working for you? And if you haven't been fasting on a regular basis, what is it about fasting that has you so intrigued? Like, what is pushing you to that point of wanting to live your life a different way? Or what is pushing you to that point where you're feeling like you should be seeking out something else? And so I didn't grow up fasting. I didn't practice fasting even as a health and fitness coach in my 20s and my 30s and my 40s. I was living that lifestyle that we all were living in the fact that we were eating every couple of hours. And I ended up becoming very sick because of that lifestyle. So why is it that we are so afraid to start intermittent fasting? What is it? Is it the word fasting that is scaring us? Is it all the warnings about women that is scaring us, when we already know that the way that we have been living hasn't worked so well for us? And so this is where we really have to start working on that mindset that we have about how we're taking care of ourselves and what kind of noise we're going to allow in, and is that noise going to keep us from really thinking logically about how it is we are going to create this lifestyle for ourselves. So I've been fasting every day for the past 5 years, and I can tell you that I have gotten nothing but amazing benefits from it. I talk about that a lot here. So why is it that so many of us are still afraid? And is it because we hope that maybe fasting is that thing that we can kind of like just put on the sidelines because we can convince ourselves that it's not good for us and we don't want to go through maybe that little uncomfortable change that we have to experience to get to the other side and reap the benefit from it? Is it the fact that socially or emotionally with your friends, it's not something that is mainstream yet, and so you hope that you shouldn't fast every day because that would make things so much easier? What is it about our mindset that's keeping us from what really does seem to be the most logical way to live our life? So let's think about what a fasted state is, and let's think about the intermittent fasting world that we really do try to teach here, and that is that 24-hour period and that time frame in which you choose to fast and the time frame you choose to feast. So there have been many studies. There's a whole book on it, The Metabolic Approach to Cancer, where it is shown that even 12 hours of being in a fasted state can really help us women reverse a lot of the things that we struggle with aging, reverse a lot of the diseases that we're so afraid of, reverse a lot of the sugar-related diseases that we're suffering. 12 hours. So let's look at the 12-hour window first. So fasting for 12 hours every day. What does that look like? Well, it looks like when you get to that point of finishing your dinner, you just don't do anything to interrupt a fasted state until 12 hours into that. So if you stop eating dinner at 6 o'clock in the morning, so 6 p.m. to 6 in the morning, that's fasting. There's no reason you can't do that every day. For the average person, we don't even get the minimal amount of time in fasting in, because the average person's 24-hour period looks more like a snack on the couch watching your shows, because that's what we deserve, and or a glass of wine, and or a fruity drink, or something flavorful and treaty because we deserve it at the end of the day. You go to bed around 11 or 12, you wake up at 6, and then you have your creamer in your coffee, or you have your bagel and your cream cheese, or whatever it is that you have in the morning, and now you've just fasted for 7 hours. And we know that that's not enough time to reap any of the benefits of fasting. And so, what if you just pushed it back a little bit? What if we just got in the habit of not treating ourselves at the end of the day with food and drink, right? So, what's the big treat? What do we deserve at the end of the day on the couch? Like, what did we do that was so amazing that we deserve to end our day with those kind of things? Did we make it through the day without killing or losing one of our kids? Did we make it through the day without, getting fired? Like, what is it that we did that we need to have a reward every night? And it really is just thinking about changing your mindset and the triggers that you have and the habits that you're keeping. And can you easily fast every day? Yeah, just stop eating at dinner, get yourself through a 12-hour period, and then you can start your day in the morning. For us women who are really, really frustrated with a lot of these sugar-related diseases, we do need to go a little farther than that. That 12-hour period, we know now through scientific studies, you've all read them, you're all doing the research, you're all listening to the experts. We know that that's just not enough time for our bodies to correct the hormonal imbalance that we have. The major hormone that's out of balance is our insulin. 12-hour mark is where that insulin is at its lowest. You break your 12-hour fast, you just created a new insulin situation in your body, and you never get the opportunity to burn off those reserves. So yes, 12 hours is fantastic, but if you feel like you're hypoglycemic, insulin resistant, diabetic, or you're suffering some of these Alzheimer's types of warning signals, then 12 hours isn't even going to be enough for you. You have to get to that point where you go to the lowest level of insulin being secreted in your body. So insulin is at its lowest levels. And then you have to burn off everything you have packed away in storage. It's causing all those problems. And then once you get past the burn off, you still have to stay in a fasted state so that you can start reaping the benefits of what fasting can do for you. So if you skip a day of fasting, you've just skipped an opportunity for the insulin to be at its lowest point, for your body to work off those reserves, and for your body to get into the advantageous opportunity of being sugar depleted and being fat adapted. So why wouldn't we want to fast every day? We already know what the chemical changes are that happen when we're in a fasted state. And every day that we do not take advantage of even the most minimal amount of fasting, we're creating backup. We're creating imbalance, and we are ultimately creating disease opportunities. So what's keeping us so afraid? What's keeping us so afraid of fasting every day? And why do we think still, even after all of this research, even after all of these testimonials of real life women here in this community who are practicing this, why do we still ask ourselves that question? And I think that's something that we really need to spend some time thinking about. Like, why is it that we still fear living in a fasted state when we have so much evidence to prove to us that living in a feasted state hasn't worked so well from us? So what I want you to think about is having the opportunity every single day through time and consistency to not only balance out your insulin, but to eat away at all of those things that are backed up and start digging into the opportunities that fasting can bring you. When we think that way, when our mindset is centered around what we have the opportunity to practice, what we have the opportunity to lean in, and we stop thinking about all the things that we are quote unquote not allowed to do, aka eat, then we start really thinking about all of the amazing things that fasting can do for us, and we can answer our own question. Yes, I should put my body in a fasted state every single day. I always say, when in doubt, you should always fast it out, because as soon as you put yourself into that feasting window or that feasting chemical change, you just stopped all of the amazing things that can happen for you. Now, before I get a bunch of hate mail about feeding and eating, and that shouldn't be a bad thing, we also need to make sure that we are feasting well also. I always like to teach that when you are in a feasted window, so remember, we're intermittent fasting within a frame of 24 hours. Fasting long enough to create the opportunity of the healing benefits of fasting, and feasting well enough to not make up for what we were not allowed to do during our last fast, but feasting well enough to support our next fast? And how do you want to feel when you enter into that next fasting opportunity? And making your choices about how you're going to live your life for everything that you are about to experience, and stop making decisions about everything that you could not experience. Remember, fasting and feasting is a choice. How you choose to take care of yourself is up to you. There should be no one telling you what you are allowed to do and what you are not allowed to do. You are the only person that should be determining that for you. And start thinking about how you want to live your tomorrows. And why would you not want to fast every day? It does not have to be a consistent clean fast every single day. It does not have to be a consistent 20 hours every single day. But you should know enough about what fasting can do for your body chemically that you are at least taking advantage of the minimal opportunities that fasting can bring to you with time and consistency. So I want to ask you again, why wouldn't you be fasting every day? What is it that you have going on in your own personal mindset because of maybe some experiences you've had in the past that makes you so afraid of what we know now through our own personal experiences and through the scientific studies that are being done and through just testing it out? Why is it that we still are asking ourselves that question? And why aren't we asking ourselves why we aren't fasting more? Why are we not leaning into this amazing opportunity to heal our bodies? And that is really where we want to start doing the work. We want to start doing the work on our heart and our head so that our body will be able to benefit from the decisions that we're making that are common sense, and the decisions that we are making based on how it is we as aging women want to live out our future. I personally want to age successfully, and I have that prayer for all of you as well. We should really be in control of how we're aging, and it really does start with the choices that we're making in our fasting window and our feasting window, and trusting that it will work for us exactly the way it is laid out to work. Choose your fasting window smart, do it intelligently, do it with heart, do it with a little bit of hustle. And then when you decide to open up that feasting window, make sure the choices that you are making are for how you want to look and feel in your next fast. Stop thinking about all the things you're not allowed to do. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do, and think about everything for your tomorrow. So every woman should fast every day in some way, shape, or form. And when you start thinking that way, it will happen automatically, and you will start to really be able to embrace all the opportunities that it can bring to you. So I apologize for the wonky little start that we had today. Sometimes the internet is just funky. Sometimes the way we get set up is just not working the way we had hoped it would be. So I appreciate you guys all coming back and joining in on the conversation. If you haven't left a comment yet about your own personal fasting schedule, please do so in the comment section. If you're scared of fasting, or you're not sure if fasting is safe for you to do every day, let me know. I would love to include you in on the conversation and help ease some of your concerns. I have been fasting every day for the past almost 5 years now, and I can tell you I can't imagine living any other way, and the benefits that I personally am reaping just get better and better with time, and I know that is true of a lot of women in our community as well. So lean into what's working with others. Get on the path that has already been paved for you with the women who have already been experiencing this and proving that this is a really great way for us to live. You don't have to do this alone. We are definitely here to help you out and guide you along the way. So I'm going to open up the conversation on Facebook first, and I know it's kind of funky on Facebook too. Is the lighting off on Facebook, or it's fine?
Way off.
Way off. So we don't know what's going on today. It's like a stormy day here. There's clouds in the sky. Everything looks all washed out on my Facebook page, so I do apologize for that. And thank you guys for being so patient when things don't always go perfect with us. Yvonne, some days longer than others. Yeah, I know you do for sure. Yvonne is reaping the benefits from fasting for sure. She's been with us. She's one of our OGs too, right, Yvonne Goodrich, 2017. Yep. Teresa, yes, every day. So does my 91-year-old father. Yeah, you have an amazing father. So if he's not on, make sure you tell him we said hi for sure. Chris, every day, and I want to look and feel my best. Good for you, girlfriend. Lori, the noise is in my own head around not wanting my body to get used to it, the same schedule. Yeah, here's what I say about that too. That's the other question I get all the time. Should you fast the same way every day? It would be really impossible for me to fast the same way every day, because I live my life first and I fast around my life. So many times when we're listening to all the experts out there, I'm an expert myself, so I say things too, but What you want to remember is when someone's saying something that it has to be this way or the highway, question that. There should be freedom and flexibility in everything we do. And as long as you're reaping the benefits that you had hoped for, you're doing it right. That's all the research we need to have. If you feel like you can't stick with fasting because your life is too complicated, then you got to work on your life, because fasting, you guys, is super easy. You pick a period of time, you do nothing. You let your body do what it knows to do. You hydrate it, maybe have a little bit of coffee, and you go about your day. It is the most freeing way to live your life. We make it complicated, right? Or life happens to us and then we're like, oh my gosh, my dog threw up on the carpet. I need to go eat a box of whatever. Like, the box of whatever you're about to eat is not going to clean up the throw up on your carpet or wherever, right? And if we don't change how we react and respond to our life, we will always be that woman. So fasting has nothing to do with any of that. Feasting has nothing to do with any of that. We really have to understand that we can create a lifestyle that will work very well with fasting. How do we know that? Because we created a lifestyle that worked very well with feasting, right? We managed our life around social events and parties and barbecues and weddings and all of those types of events. So why can't we create the same type of lifestyle around fasting? Doesn't mean you have to miss your life. I profess all the time, never ever miss a memory making opportunity because a fast that you have on your schedule. Never ever miss a memory making opportunity because of a fast you have on your schedule. Always accommodate your life. But you have to also remember that stress eating doesn't fix anything. Emotional eating doesn't fix anything. Eating when everything seems out of control doesn't fix anything. So those are not reasons to not fast. We have to make sure that we understand how it is we emotionally react and respond. And that's just how life is going to be. It's always going to be that way. But if that hasn't served you, then you need to think about creating different lifestyles or different triggers or different ways that you handle situations. And absolutely doing nothing when life is hard is the best way to get through a hard part of life and thrive in the power that you have to make those decisions for yourself, for sure. Your body will not get used to it, Lori. Trust me, your body will adapt to whatever changes you put in place, and life will always create changes for you. To compensate, I fast different hours every day, 12 to 24. There you go. Your body will not get used to it. I fasted squeaky clean for 20 hours for almost a year, and I reaped nothing but amazing benefits for that. And so just know too, consistency is not a bad thing, because you're not going to eat the same things every day. Your body's not going to choose to heal the same way every day. So your body will adjust to its own schedule, even if you're fasting the same way every day. And then Rachel, do you try to fit in a certain number of calories when you break your fast, or do you only eat the one meal that you sometimes post a picture of? I don't count calories. I don't count macros. I don't count anything. I make really sound nutritional choices based on my body's needs. And I personally let my hunger hormones dictate how I eat. So I'm a foodie. I love me some food. I love to eat. I love to eat all different kinds of food. And so when my feasting window's open, I just determine what I'm going to eat when my feasting window is open. So I only eat one meal a day when my body tells me it doesn't need any more food. Otherwise, I eat 4 to 6 hours a day. I don't count it. I don't track it. I don't do any of those kind of things. I just let my body tell me what to do. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. So I would definitely recommend not counting calories for sure. And then Myrna, fast every day. Awesome girlfriend. Laura, May 2019 grad. Laura, I love the routine and the health benefits. Yeah, for sure. Yvonne, graduated in 2017. I think it was 2017, girlfriend. I think it was August, I think it was. I don't know. Valerie, a July 2019 grad. I've seen women clients self-sabotage often. Yeah, self-sabotage is the number one thing that will keep you from reaping the benefits of fasting. It's the number one thing that's caused you to fail in every single diet you've tried up until intermittent fasting, because intermittent fasting is a diet unless you change your mindset. Unless you create a lifestyle that will last for the rest of your life, you're dieting. and self-sabotage will be the one thing that will keep you in that diet mentality for sure. And then Molly, I need to get out of my head and just do this consistently. Yes, you do, girlfriend, and you just stated it publicly, so there you go. A public affirmation. So now I'm going to expect that you are going to be doing it consistently. Lori, you are so welcome. Angela, my first live. Awesome, girlfriend. It's so good to have you with us. Sorry it started off a little wonky. And then Laura, I also love making my routine around my life. So much freedom. Yeah. For sure. We fast on vacation and we enjoy vacation. We just fast a little differently. And that is really key for sure. Making sure that you set your fasting schedule around your family too. One of my biggest aha moments with fasting and the lifestyle that I've created for myself was I was finally able to eat dinner with my family. I was finally able to eat the same foods they ate at dinner time. And when I was dieting, I would get to dinner time and I would have no more calories left to eat. I ran out of my calorie count for the day. Or I would sit with a plate of food and it looked like I wasn't allowed to eat anything. And that's very damaging emotionally and mentally for us women. And that's usually when we go, oh, forget it. And then we sulk with a bottle of wine and a bag of popcorn on the couch. Or at least that's what I did. And that could get us in trouble. So you want to make sure that you are making sure that your window for feasting is centered around the people and the things that you love the most. So you are no longer feeling like you're the girl in the corner at the party pouting because you're not allowed to eat anything. You should be allowed to do whatever it is you want to do. Just make sure that they end up making you look and feel your best. And then Monica, hello from the UK. I've heard opinion that if you fast every day, your body will get used to it and stall. What do you think about that? That's impossible to happen because you're not doing the same exact thing every day. The way you sleep is going to be different. What you eat is going to be different. You're not going to fast to the minute every day exactly the same. So that, in my opinion, is just flat out false information. And like I said, I proved that with fasting every day for 20 hours. I feasted for 4, like a book. I didn't waver because I was really determined to heal my body, and it did in fact heal. So I would say with those kind of statements, test it out. Test it out. Do it exactly the same way every day and see how that feels for you. If that works for you, I think that that's fantastic. If that's too much for you to micromanage, then loosen it up a little bit. But you can fast for some period of time every single day. The option to that is feasting every day, and we already know that doesn't work. So I always say, go with what you know works for you, and if what you were doing before didn't work for you, then you should definitely be questioning that and question why it is you would ever go back to that for sure, regardless of who gives you that advice. Danny, hello. Sunset Inc., hello. Barb, I'm in the latest 3-week group. I have now fasted 7 days. I'm loving the results so far. So there you go. February course. She's only 4 days into the course, but she's been fasting for 7 days and she's already seeing results. So congratulations, Teresa and Greg. Hello. She fasts 16-8 every day. That's awesome. Melinda every day. Brenda from North Carolina, July and August grad. She says it works for sure. CW, trying to get back on track. This encouragement is appreciated and needed. Awesome. Yeah. Anytime you feel like you need to jump back on track, the day you decide you feel like you need to jump back on track is the day you're on the track. Don't wait for a Monday. Don't wait for a new month. Don't wait for any of those kind of things to trigger you. The day you decide you need to get back in is the day you get back in. Just start a fast. Celeste from Pennsylvania just joined this week. Awesome, girlfriend. So glad to have you with us. Devon, this new year, I finally moved more easily into the 20-hour daily fasting after months of attempting this goal. My insulin test came back this week and now shows I'm now in the excellent range. There you go, girlfriend. And that is the ultimate goal, right? We want to march into those doctor's appointments every year with confidence. We want to march into those doctor's appointments every year knowing that we are making the right decisions for us so that when we get those blood tests back, we go, yeah, I knew that. I've been doing the work. So congratulations to you, girlfriend, for making that change for sure. And then Melinda graduated 2020. Barb, I'm concerned about getting the right amount of nutrients, multivitamins, calcium, etc. as an aging woman. Lots of myths about that as well. And when you're fasting long and feasting well, you should be able to get all the nutrients that you need. If you're concerned about nutrient deficiencies, I highly recommend getting that tested before you go out and spend a bunch of money on things that you might not need. And there's new studies showing that We as women don't need as much calcium as they once believe that we needed. There's a really good book called The Magnesium Miracle that you can read about that. I don't supplement with calcium whatsoever, and my bone density is fine. And I have a family history of osteoporosis. I don't supplement with the calcium. I just make sure that I get nutrient dense foods. I drink lots of mineralized water, and I'm fine. So make sure you do your research on that and get a test if you think you're deficient. Barb, I'm concerned about getting the right, okay, I already did that one. Laura, I'm only slightly afraid to fast every day so I don't impact my metabolism in a negative way. If you understand what happens in a fasted state, you would then fast every day, because when you're in a fasted state, your body's metabolism resets itself to a metabolic rate that your body needs to sustain your life. So when you're dieting and when you're restricting calories, you are slowing down your metabolism. When you're eating all day, you're slowing down your metabolism. So you need to understand how your body's metabolic burn rate works on its own, and you need to get out of its way. So if you haven't taken my course yet, we have a whole lesson on that. I would highly recommend that you get in that so you understand how your body works and you stop thinking you know how it works for sure. It's a chemical thing for sure. Shantae, afraid of getting too skinny. Oh, girlfriend, I wish I had that fear. I would say, you know, if you understand fasting again and you understand human growth hormone and you're feasting well, you should not get too skinny. If you're feasting, remember, it's intermittent fasting. Fast long, feast well. Your body's only going to burn off what it has to burn off, and then it's going to meet its set point and you don't have to worry about it. So just make sure you're feasting and you'll be fine. And then Trish, do we need to do keto? I do not do keto. I don't teach keto. Some people thrive in keto. I think that keto is great for those people. But keto, in my opinion, or the ketogenic diet, if you do it by the book, is really hard to sustain unless all your friends and family are following the ketogenic diet as well. If that's the case, I say you'll probably thrive. If they don't, then you will probably find that you're constantly frustrated because you're trying to adapt to your social and family life and adapt to the ketogenic diet. And the ketogenic diet is a diet, so either you follow it or you don't. And if you don't follow it the way it's designed to be followed, you will not reap the benefits of it and you'll be super, super frustrated. So that's a perfect personal choice. I don't suggest following the ketogenic diet because I don't follow it. So it'd be hard for me to say that you have to follow it as well. And then Kathy, daily 20 to 24. Awesome. Cheryl, graduated from 2020 in January. My first thought is I'm not afraid, but obviously there is some fear, or I'd be doing 20-hour fast daily instead of 12-hour one day, 16 another, and 20 on other days. Cheryl, figure out why you're afraid. Figure out why you're afraid and then answer that for yourself so that you can start reaping the benefits and be more consistent. I just fast. It's like breathing to me now. I don't even think about it. I don't have to track it. The only time I really get to tracking anything is if I start to feel like I'm getting a little too loosey-goosey in my feast, then I fast more. Super easy adjustment for me. I don't have to diet or take anything away. Just fast longer. And so I would say if you just know you fast and you just don't eat during certain hours of the day, it's a really easy lifestyle for sure. And then Mary, 45 years old. I have keto every day, longer fast, 7-11 days every 4 months, but I failed even with my 2-day fast just now. What's going on? Am I going backward? Okay, so 46 years old, I have keto every day. So you do 7 to 11 day fast every 4 months, but I failed even with my 2-day fast. So what does that mean you failed? I don't get what you're saying there if you fast every day. So when you do extended fasting, you feel like you're failing, or you're failing in the fact that you're not fasting every day. I don't really know what you mean by that. Thank you to all you lovely ladies and men who are part of this amazing journey, especially Diana Michael. Thank you for that. Michael appreciates that as well. And then Barb, does your husband have a program for men? He has joined me but could benefit from a male perspective. He doesn't yet. We've just been really busy trying to support this side of the community and don't want to spread ourselves too thin because our first priority is always our kids and our family. But we have it on the horizon. We have it on our list of things to do for sure. And then Carolina, day 4, and I'm feeling like I have fluid retention, 20-hour fast. Keep drinking your water. You're almost over the hump, girlfriend. It gets better after the 4th day. And then Heather, 24 since January 4th and very comfortable with it. Heading out on a 2-week vacation in February and plan to keep IF on it. Good for you, girlfriend. Remember, don't drink it, don't bring it, don't buy it, don't accept it, and fast on your travel days for sure. And then Sue, I have been doing 18-6 IF for about 6 months after having an A1C of 5.8, low carb but not keto. I have lost 6 pounds resting on February retesting on February 25th, asking for insulin level as well as A1C. Yeah, just make sure you've had at least 3 months of consistently living this lifestyle before retesting your A1C. It takes 3 months for your body to reset for that test. So time and consistency, 3 months, and then make sure you're getting retested just so you're not feeling discouraged, even though it's working for you for sure. I was able to lower mine. Mine was a 5.9. And I'm back in a normal range. So I'm pretty confident you'll be there as well. And then I think that's it, right, Michael? Did I get everybody on Facebook? Oh, no. Monica, thank you. That's what I've started to do. Okay, awesome. Lisa, hello. Tracy, my doctor told me that following 18-6 is a type of eating disorder. That's because you're, well, what do I say to that? That's not true. An eating disorder is not how many hours a day you eat. An eating disorder is a very serious mental health issue. And I don't think a doctor should throw that kind of statement around. It's not true. So how you feel about eating could be considered an eating disorder. How you treat your body could be part of an eating disorder. But choosing to fast for 18 hours and feast on nutrient-dense food for 6 is in no way an eating disorder. So I think your doctor just might be a little ill-informed. Yvonne, I shoot for 9 to 12 servings of veggies per day and fast 14 to 20 hours. Yeah, and I don't really count servings at all. I do try to eat a little bit more plant-based than I am animal protein, and I'm feeling much better. So that's one of those things too. The longer you fast this lifestyle, the more consistent you are. The more you'll start to realize you can experiment with what you're doing in your feasting window and reap new benefits for sure. So I know Yvonne's a big plant-based advocate, so she's doing really well for sure. And then Tracy, I love IF, usually 18 to 20 hours a day. My belly feels so much better. I feel so much better. Yeah, for sure. You know, it's amazing what we can reap physically by just letting our body empty out, right? And we know now that when we're not constantly stuffing ourselves with food, we do give our body the opportunity to have energy and resources to do other things, also known as healing itself. And so when you're constantly shoving food down your throat, your body's just being overworked and exhausted, and it doesn't really have that opportunity to do the healing that we hope it will do as we go through this aging process. So just give yourself a break. You know, fasting's easy. Just make sure that you're doing it consistently so you have the opportunity to reap the benefits. I always say in the very beginning as well, especially for a lot of us ladies who are suffering from sugar-related diseases still, the consistency part is key. Consistently every single day so that you have that routine and you create that opportunity for your body to go deep and really reverse some of the backup that we have and can get into the healing state. Oftentimes we cut it just short of getting to that next level of healing, and you don't have to do anything extreme. Everything can be within the intermittent fasting guideline or time frame of fasting. You do not have to go into multiple day fasting. You do not have to go into anything extreme. Time and consistency within intermittent fasting and make really good choices about your nutrition will get you to that healing point for sure. And then Mary, just to clarify my previous comment, failed with 2-day fast. I found myself wanting to eat all the time. Lower energy and ended up eating around 120 grams to get through the first day. Okay, so I would say make sure you get to really confidently intermittent fasting before you do anything extended. And you really should make sure that your body is fat adapted and not still carb dependent. That makes fasting in those extended fasts a lot easier. And I do believe that fasting is personality based as well. There are people who thrive in extended days of fasting. There are people who thrive in water only fasting. I am not one of those people. So I don't do well in multiple day water fasting. I do really well in some fat adapted type of fasting. I teach a lot of this in my midlife mindset shift course. So the ultimate goal is to not be sugar dependent. The ultimate goal is to have your body produce ketones and get into autophagy. There are so many ways you can get your body to do that. You do not have to only do that through water fasting. So if you're not battling any kind of like life-threatening type of thing, if I was battling a life-threatening type of thing, I always say very openly here, I would check myself into a water fasting only clinic and I would be monitored by medical staff, and I would do that to get my body into that deep cellular healing. But I can also get myself to that point without going to extremes with what I know about my body and by monitoring some blood testing. So if your personality doesn't do well in multiple day water fasting, why would you torture yourself? There's other ways you can get the healing benefits without having to do that for sure. And then Ginger, lost my fear when got to know, experienced IFers from all walks and diets, of all walks and diet succeeded. Yeah, there you go for sure. And then Mary, I never crave carbs, only wanted to eat fat. That's good. So eat fat, that's great. And just to clarify, I'm not a doctor, it's DY Ann. So it's Diane, not Dr. Ann. And then Carolina, I do play and enjoy tennis 3 to 4 times a week, mixed doubles. I don't want to stop doing this 21-day class. Will I still be successful? Yeah, for sure. Just make sure you're hydrated. Make sure your feast at the end of your day supports your next fast. So fasted workouts are fantastic. You just want to make sure you have the hydration, the electrolytes, and then have your feast support your next fast. Don't go so slim in your feast the night before a tennis match that you don't have the stuff readily available to burn. So you should be fine. And then Myrna, I started IF in September 2019. Question, yes. Do you have a question? And then Carolina, awesome. Yeah, you're welcome for sure. Test it out too. You know, just make sure you have lots of sodium. Make sure you have your potassium. Make sure you have your magnesium. Make sure you're drinking some good mineralized water. You should be fine. If it's really hot and you're sweating a lot, then you really want to make sure you have electrolytes up for sure. And then Mary, my blood ketone was 6 after 3 days water fast. I assume I'm fat adapted. My apologies for wrongly spelling your name. Hey, no worries. I just like to make that correction. And yeah, so that's great. If that's what you got for you, I think that's fantastic. I don't really like to say that there's one good way to have your ketone levels or one good thing that you're trying to accomplish. Everybody's body chemistry is different. So you doing a 3-day water fast and getting a ketone level of 6, I think it's fantastic for you. It might not be feasible for all people, but that doesn't mean that they're not taking advantage of healing for sure. Myrna, eat after exercise. I'm so hungry, but still in my fasting window. Okay, so again, the type of exercise you do will determine how hungry you are after exercise. When I do sustained cardio, I don't feel hungry at all after exercising. When I do HIIT workouts or I do strength training type of workouts, I generally feel a little bit more ravenous kind of feeling. And so those are the days you have to just go, okay, so do I adjust my fast? Do I bite the bullet and get myself through it? What are you ultimately trying to accomplish with that? And then that's where you make your adjustments for sure. It might be as simple as the type of workout that you're doing. If it's creating that hunger, maybe moving that to a later part of the day so that you can feast afterwards. I personally like to fast post-workout because I like to take advantage of what the chemistry that I just created post-workout and take advantage of my body being in that depleted state glycogen-wise and in that enhanced fat-burning state. But again, that's personal, so you have to just kind of figure out what the big picture is for you. Is that it, Michael?
That is it.
I think so, right? Yvonne, thanks for all your hard work, both of you. Oh, Yvonne, you're welcome. Girlfriend, I haven't seen you in forever. It was so nice to see you pop on here today. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so should you fast every day? Yes, you should, in some way, shape, or form. We already know that feasting every day doesn't work for us. It's backfired on so many of us. And now we know that the research is there to prove that being in a fasted state is very, very beneficial, especially for offsetting or postponing or maybe even never experiencing a lot of these sugar-related diseases that so many of us women are suffering from as we're going through hormonal changes. Everything is based off hormonal changes. So fasting is a really great opportunity to get those hormones back in balance and will help you live a really happy and healthy life if you really start to work on this part of it too, making sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and that the mindset you have around when life happens will really help enforce what you're doing with this lifestyle. Make sure the decisions you make today will really help you fast long and feast well so that you can make decisions that will allow you to look and feel your best and live your most authentic life. Thanks so much for jumping on here today with us, you guys. Again, I'm sorry that it started off a little wonky. We will be back here on Friday. I will bring my amazing husband on with me. We will discuss something that has to do with the fasting community here with our aging community. Bring your spouses on board. If you have anything that you would like Michael and I to talk about on Friday, maybe something that's going on with your spouse, always feel free to leave that in the comment section or make sure you email me and we will make sure that we get it on our list of topics that we want to discuss with you guys. Have a great day.